Hello, Bernhard here. I'm an agronomic research scientist, and today we're going to talk about delayed corn emergence and the impact that can have on grain yield. We'll take a look inside of this field here where we marked some plants that were delayed in their emergence earlier in the season and take a peek at what those ear size look like today, a couple weeks before harvest here. Corn stand uniformity is critical to maximizing yield potential. A uniform corn stand is when all the plants are evenly spaced and they all emerged at roughly the same time. A uniform corn stand sets the foundation and yield trajectory for the rest of the growing season. Corn plants, they compete for resources such as sunlight, water, and nutrients. A delayed plant, or plant that has emerged after its neighbors, is behind and will never catch back up. Those plants will rob resources from its neighbors and essentially become a weed. In 2020, the agronomy research team implemented a trial to look at the impact of delayed emergence on grain yield. We planted all plots to achieve a uniform stand, and then we removed seeds by hand and replanted them either 2 or 4 days later to create artificial delayed in emergence, either 2 or 4 days. Those plants that emerged 2 days after their neighbors saw a 15% yield reduction on those ears. If those plants were delayed by 4 days, that yield reduction was up to 21%. This year, the agronomy research team tried to look at the same thing, the impact of delayed emergence on corn yield, but we took a slightly different approach. We utilized a polymer seed coating to create artificial delays. And we used that polymer seed coating on either 10, 20, or 30% of the seeds in each plot that we were planting. And that seed coating, depending on the location, caused either a 2 to 6 day delay in emergence. We also have 2 hybrids in this trial, one fixed ear hybrid and one flexed ear hybrid, to see how those hybrids compensate for that delayed plant. Shortly after emergence, we could see those plants that had that polymer seed coating were delayed, and they were either between 1 to 2 growth stages behind the rest of the plot. We flagged those plants so we can track them throughout the growing season. So let's go inside and look at this trial and see what those plants look like today. Okay, so we are out here in the trial where we created artificial delayed emergence utilizing a polymer seed coating. You can see down here that I marked the delayed plant early in the growing season, and you can see how spindly that stalk is compared to the neighboring stalk. And if you take a look, that plant was delayed throughout the entire growing season, which basically made that plant a weed. And you can see here I've pulled back some of the ears. That's the neighboring plant. There's the delayed plant, hardly any kernels on that at all. And here's the other neighboring plant. So let's pull these ears off and take a closer look at them out of the field. Here I've pulled the ears from the trial, and the way I have this laid out is there are 2 different hybrids here. This is a flex-eared hybrid over here, and this is a fixed-eared hybrid over here. The middle of that group is the delayed plant, so this ear was the delayed plant for the flexed-ear hybrid. These would be the immediate neighbored plants, and these are the plants that are 2 plants away from that delayed plant. Same over here. Here's the ear from the fixed-eared hybrid that was delayed, the 2 immediate neighbored plants, and then the ears from the plants that were 2 away from that delayed plant. And you can see here with that fixed-eared hybrid, that particular hybrid, it is going to throw the same size ear regardless of plant population and also whether or not it has a delayed plant next to it. So you can see these ears are not much larger than the ones that were 2 ears away from that delayed plant. You would think that with that delayed plant being much smaller or behind, that this ear here would have more resources. But again, this hybrid does not compensate very well for those delayed plants. Compared to this flex ear hybrid, you can see that the immediate ears next to that delayed plant are much larger, or those ears flexed more than the plants that were 2 ears away from that delayed plant. Or essentially, this ear here was what the original stand or uniform stand ear would look like. Again, these were next to that delayed ear, so it flexed and became a little bit larger or compensated for that delayed plant. So this is just an example of the 2 different hybrids we had in this trial and how hybrids respond to not only the planting population per se, but also when you have those delayed plants in your field. So how do you avoid having delayed plants in your field? Well, you really only have one shot to get it right, and that's at planting. Proper planter setup and seed bed preparation is key to adequate seed to soil contact and uniform emergence. Cloudy conditions or excessive residue can reduce the seed to soil contact and also reduce the ride of your planter or increase the row unit bounce, which can affect planting depth. Aim to achieve a uniform planting depth of about 2 inches. Proper planter maintenance and downforce can help with this consistency of your planting depth. Soil temperature should be near 50 degrees when planting to achieve good emergence. Excessive salt near the seed from high rates of pop-up fertilizer can burn and weaken seedlings. Also, anaerobic conditions from compaction in wet soils or even cool rains can really slow down early plant development. However, if you have the proper planter setup, adequate seedbed preparation, and good weather, a uniform corn stand is achievable.